Daniel, how are you?
I'm good, Greg. How are you?
Doing well. Good to see you. And it was my family. We got together and watched the movie last night, and we all found it, of course, a very fascinating story. But probably the one thing that just really stuck out is the fact that it was a true story.
Mhm.
I mean, this almost seems like something that someone, you know what I mean, would have had to write up because you couldn't imagine stuff like this. But that's just the way it was. What was it like for you? Just even reading through the script when you first got it.
I was blown away.
Hmm.
Um, Mostly about like that a man with this kind of ideas and this kind of mind and this kind of heart lived, and I didn't know about it like in this way. That this man's remarkable. Like, why is there not a lot more people remarking about him? You know what I'm saying? It's like it was a very strange. I was like, what the hell? He was able to kind of deduce and articulate really complex ideas in a really simple, accessible way, and in a really charismatic way, and so yeah, I was kind of really taken aback that this kind of world and this kind of story and this kind of man had been suppressed in such a visceral way.
No, absolutely. And even think about it, it was 52 years ago, which in some ways it sounds, like a long time ago. But in the reality, it's basically like the blink of an eye,
Mm.
that it happened. And unfortunately, to an extent, a lot of the same stuff is going on today.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, there's still brutality and like things based off white fear running rampant within Western society.
No, that's for sure. And like I said, you didn't know at first that this was a true story, but then, like you said, the more you watch and the more you take it in, it was just kind of like an eye opener. Where at the end nobody was saying anything because we were all absorbing it, which was good because then it led to a great hour-long conversation after that. So I know that's one thing for a good movie that you want people to do is sit up and talk about it.
What was your conversation?
Oh wow, well there's some of us who were I was a little kid, at 68. A couple of people were older, and we were just talking about the things that, you did and didn't see on TV. Honest to God, I never knew anything about this
Mm.
at all. And I live in Detroit, which was, basically is a city right across the state from Chicago.
Mm.
And just how all of a sudden now these type of stories are coming out for people to hear. Because other than that, no, this one had, at least around where I'm from, had been suppressed. We
Wow,
didn't know anything about it.
wow. That's so fascinating that you was alive and during that time and you didn't hear about it in that
Yeah.
kind of. You didn't even hear about Chairman Fred at all.
No. I mean, like I said, I was 8, so, you didn't watch, the news all that much. You'd heard of the Black Panthers, but didn't know any of the individuals who were in charge or
Mhm,
anything like that.
mhm,
And then the older you got, for the most part, that type of history was kind of like suppressed,
mhm,
in the beginning. You didn't hear anything. All you knew is that they were agitators.
mm,
And, that was all anybody ever talked about.
mm. Fascinating, fascinating.
Yeah. But like we said, it's great that more of these stories are coming out and that people are finding out more. I mean, because we need to know the history. Because what's the old saying? If you don't know where you came from, you're doomed to go back.
Yeah. What's another? I think it's a Mark Twain quote. It's like history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme.
Yes,
And so
yes,
it's kind of you need to understand what you're kind of like what line you are, and if you want
right.
to rhythm of it, if you want to
Mhm.
break and create a new flow, what I mean, it's I think it's really important to understand what came before and be clear about what came before, and act accordingly and build upon like the incredible work, incredible thinking that happened during that time.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. And again, stellar cast. I mean, you and Lakeith and everybody else. I mean, just an outstanding job. And I know that people will go out and see or stay in either which way. And see, I know it's hard now. You used to always
Detroit open? Is Detroit open right now? Is it open?
it's opening up more.
Right.
Because in fact our governor was just on TV. I think they're now going to have youth sports again.
Mhm.
And restaurants just opened up on Monday, but to a limited capacity. And yeah, it's almost like living in a science fiction movie where you can now actually walk into the restaurant, like even to pick up your stuff, where you go through the door and you're like, okay, you look around and everybody's looking at each other.
Yeah, that's mad. I've always wanted to go to Detroit, man. I've always
Oh
wanted.
well, come on in.
Listen, I've
Well,
always, yeah, I don't know. It always spoke to me as a kid.
hmm Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, when you do come, we'll take you to the Motown Museum.
Oh, I'd love that. I would love that. I love Motown. I would
Yeah,
love. Great.
give you a special behind the scenes tour.
Please. And I'm listening. And I come through. I'm gonna go. Yo, where's Greg at? Where's Greg?
I would love that.
About Motown, guys. Where's Greg at? I heard Detroit's open. I'm here.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All
Daniel, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for the movie.
right, thank you, man. Take care of yourself.
You too. Hi, Lakeith. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
Good.
And it's one of those things. This is another one of those stories that obviously a lot of folks didn't know about, because at one point we were watching, it was kind of like, okay, is this real? And then when you find out that this is a real story, that just even makes it more fascinating, especially like for the character that you portray. Can you imagine, what this guy had to be going through?
Yeah, I mean, I can try to imagine it.
Hmm
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, because I mean, especially thinking about the times and just figuring, okay, he's got to go in and wants to work with the people he's there for, but then he's caught up in this other situation, which actually definitely makes it tough.
Yeah.
And what's it like also looking at this movie? It's 52 years ago, but the reality is the stuff that was going on back then is still going on now.
Yeah. Um, in some ways, history just have been put on pause. Apparently. So it's all. It's all about the lessons we learn and how we try not to make the same mistakes. Um, you know, I'm not convinced that movies are going to shift the social consciousness to a point where everybody automatically wakes up, but I do think it can help, people sort of look at some of the actions they make and how they might be able to make better ones so that we don't make the same mistakes.
hmm I think, and also one scene that really stuck out for me was the one where the Panthers wound up going to I don't want to say Klan rally, but the group, and basically talk to the people and let them know that, hey, you're mad about this, but we're all in the same boat. And just how, the whole Rainbow Coalition thing got started.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one thing that I think is overlooked with the Black Panther Party and Fred Hampton is how, he started a Rainbow Coalition and he wanted to bring people together and bridge the gap of all people. It's not so much an isolated thing within just like Black people. To have Black people be free and seen as human means that everyone needs to be seen as free and human. And so they understood this, and the Black Panthers, and particularly the Illinois chapter, had a plan to actively bring about that change. It wasn't just rhetoric. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Right. And, just even to see how the government played in, because I mean, just even seeing Martin Sheen as J. Edgar Hoover, honest to God, first I didn't recognize him. And then you look and somebody said, no, yeah, that's him. It's like, whoa. But, just all the situations and different things that they were coming up with to shut down the organization. And they were going to do whatever it took.
Yeah, I think that's what people need to, yeah, look at the government, realize, everything is not always as it seems, is it?
No, that's for sure. And like you said, yeah, movies are entertaining, but hopefully, people will see, like we said, it's 52 years ago, still kind of like the same progress has been made, or some progress has been made, and in some cases, some hasn't. So hopefully, people of all different backgrounds will see this film and, open their eyes and realize, hey, we're all in this together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was having Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. on set really helped illustrate and illuminate the idea that this didn't really happen that long ago. This is the son of the person that we're speaking about here talking to us right now with, might I add, quite youthful fervor. He was there just, really making sure that we were sticking to the reality as he understood it and, walking with integrity in our interpretation. So, yeah.
All right. Keith, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And keep up the good work. And like I said, very good movie. It'll be telling a lot of folks to check it out.
Thanks, sir.